Good morning, students. Namaste. Myself, Seema Kumari, faculty at FPD, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. So, today we are going to discuss about. I'm going to take a lecture of yours on human anatomy and physiology subject, and in that subject we are going to discuss about the, like we have discussed already, what is a muscle tissue and things. So next thing we have to discuss is what are the types of muscle that are present in human body. Okay, so anatomically we will see here that what are its types and their characteristics and function. Okay, so this is the part we will cover up today in this lecture about the types of muscle, their characteristics and their function. So like I have said already in like muscle tissue chapter, that muscles have that function of contraction and movement and things. So if we will see the types of muscle enables complex movement that are either voluntary under conscious control, such as turning the page of the book, involuntary, such as contraction of the heart. So we can say that according to their controlling action, like how they are being controlled, are they being controlled by consciously, or they are like they cannot be controlled on our conscious action. So on that type we can on that basis we can classify the muscles into two types, voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. Okay, so on the basis of their controlling action that we can do, um, they are classified into two types. Okay, so voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. To understand how much muscles accomplishes these various activities, you need to know the physiology behind the muscle contraction. Okay, so we have already discussed in our one of the class of muscle contraction that how the muscle contraction take place, what are the changes, ATP, myosin and actin band, their cross bridging, and then again their relaxation, removal of that relaxation by removing or by coming the actin and myosin band at its place. So this is the physiology of the muscle contraction we have discussed already in muscle contraction topic. So to understand them how muscles are accomplishing these activities, we must know this physiology. Okay, so this requires a detailed knowledge of muscles, microscopic anatomy, like microscopically the muscles fibers, the actin band, the myosin band and everything. And of course the muscles contraction will not take place without adequate nervous system. Okay, that also we have discussed in like the muscles stimulation, how the stimulation take place and how the nervous system gives signal, and how the like acetylcholine comes there and then causes the threshold and action potential, and then the stimulus is there for the contraction, and as sufficient supply of ATP energy for the contraction, the muscles fuel. ATP is obtained via cellular respiration. We know that for energy, respiration is required, which is accomplished by various different metabolic pathways. Okay, so glycogenic pathway, glycolysis, conversion of glycogen into pyruvic acid, then lactic acid. So these are the pathways by which the ATPs are released, like anaerobic and anaerobic cycle that we will discuss. I have like already explained. We will read next sessions. Okay, so altogether if we will see like structurally or functionally, beside from their control point of view, that voluntary and involuntary, muscles are of three types. What are the three types of muscle we have? Skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle and smooth muscle. Okay, so all these three muscles have some specific characteristics in them, and that's where, and specific function also, specific characteristics and specific function. So first of all we will go through the skeletal muscles. So skeletal muscles are attached mainly to the skeletal bones, but some are also attached to other structures such as for the eye movement. Okay, So we have many muscles for oblique muscles, for like oblique movement of the eye, recti muscles, lateral. So there are so many muscles for the eye movement. So mostly we can say that skeletal muscles are attached to the skeleton, to the bones from one point to the another point. But there are few places like our tongue, like our eye, that they are attached to the soft organs also, soft tissues also. Okay, and causes movement of the body. So their basic function is for the movement. The skeletal muscle is also called striated muscle because they have striata in them because of its bending pattern when viewed under the microscope. Okay, and for clarification, see cardiac muscles below, voluntary muscles. So skeletal muscles are obviously the voluntary muscles. They are under our conscious control. We can think and we can let them. Like if we have to see, if we want to see upside, so we will move our eye upside. So how, what is causing this movement of upside movement of the eye or upward looking? It's the muscle. Okay, so if we want to hold a book or write something, so these are like we can think and we can control. If we want to stop, we can stop the movement. Okay, so this is how skeletal muscles function. Now the cardiac muscle is responsible for the rhythmic contraction of our heart. Okay, so cardiac muscle is involuntary. We cannot control the cardiac contraction or the cardiac muscles with our conscious thinking. Okay, like heart, you know already that it continuously throughout the day, 24 into 7 or 365 or whole throughout the life. From the moment blood supply occurs, like a development of heart occurs inside in a fetus, from that moment till the death, cardiac muscle and heart just keeps on pumping the blood and regulate our cardiovascular system. So there is a rhythmic contraction of the heart. Cardiac muscle is involuntary. It generates its own stimulus. It doesn't need any like input thinking or something like that. Some that it also need nervous supply. It does have its own nervous supply, but it also generates its own stimulus to initiate a muscle contraction. Okay, while cardiac muscle also consists of striation, here also we can see microscopic bands like A band or a Z band or areas like that. The main characteristics is the presence of intercalated disc. Okay, so here the disc, the presence of the disc is the main characteristics difference from the skeletal muscle. Two basic difference. One, it is like it generates its own stimulus, it is involuntary, and second thing is presence of intercalated disc. Okay, so that's how it is different from the skeletal muscle. Now the smooth muscle, the third type of the muscle. Smooth muscles lines the wall of the hollow organs. Okay, so whichever you can take any organ like our liver, like our lungs, like our intestine, our stomach, our pancreas, any organ you can check. So what does smooth muscles cause? Like it lines the wall of the hollow organs. For example, it lines the wall of the blood vessels and of the digestive tract, where it serves to advance the movement of the substance. Okay, a smooth muscle contraction is relatively slow and involuntary. So here also there's some movement, it as in the blood vessel or in our like intestinal tract. We know in blood vessels there's requirement for the movement of the blood. In our intestinal, in our tracts, we require the movement of food. So their smooth muscles, they have some movement activity, some contraction, but they are relatively slow. Okay, and are of involuntary nature. So again, smooth muscles, their contraction, their movement is also of involuntary in nature. We cannot consciously control their movement. It just goes on whenever the body is requiring. Like in blood vessels, it's always functional, and in our digestive tract, it's more functional after the digestion. So there is some changes as per the requirement is in our digestive tract. Okay, so basically here we have seen what type of muscles are there, their basis for the classification according to their characteristics, their function, and their basic anatomical view, but that how they are different. and their function also. Skeletal muscle, they have the function of the movement. Cardiac muscle for the cardiac function, for the continuous pumping of the blood. Then the smooth muscles for protecting and lining the like hollow organs, and for the movement of the things inside that hollow organs. Okay, so hereby we are completing our topic of type of muscle contraction, type of muscles and their characteristics and function. You do read this topic, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. If you can read something new, something special, then again you can ask me about that if there is any confusion in our Google Meet class. So do read and ask me the questions. Okay, thank you.